first day in Spring Hill, Portland Parish, Jamaica, and it's just absolutely magical. I'm sitting on the front porch of my little cottage. I just wanted to share some thoughts about healing in nature, and specifically in connecting with spirit and the higher self and Orisha, Oludumare, Ifa, and I went on my first hike here this morning, and this is after saying my morning prayers and eating breakfast. And I chose this place because I feel like being in the forest, in the jungle, near the river, is a happy place for me. I feel like I belong there. It feels like a womb, a safe place. I feel protected and cozy and watched over. And this place is quite magical, in that I also feel like it chose me, and Oshun, Mama Oshun, called me here. The river is literally everywhere I go. I'm sitting on the patio, but I can hear the river roaring nearby. When I exit the back of the cottage, there's a sign that says the river. And this morning, I went the opposite of that direction. I went, on a journey just to discover what was around, and I ended up at the river. I went through the forest, the scenic routes, and came to the river and said my blessings there and said my prayers and greeted Yeye and washed my head and my hands and crossed the river. I would say about less than 3 minutes up the trail after crossing the river, I stumbled on a collection of abandoned white snail shells, and all I could do was laugh. Spirit is really, I believe spirit is humorous and sarcastic, at least in my connection. And spirit can be really subtle and sometimes so extra and not subtle at all. So nature really does provide, it does meet us where we are, and it helps us to expand. And I'm grateful that, in the time that I have been on this earth, I've always been a sensitive being, but I've been cultivating a practice that allows me to sense into the subtleties of spirit and to have my eyes wide open, so that I can notice all the ways that spirit communicates and speaks. And so in this case, this morning, I wake up and I'm in Ogun's territory, and I meet the river, I hear it, and then I see it, and I get to cleanse myself in the river. And my prayer this morning, my intention this morning was to see my reflection everywhere, to notice it when it shows up, but especially in looking into the river and looking into the mirror of Oshun, of Yeye. And one of the things that I'm taking away from my time in nature today is, it is important for me to spend time alone, because sometimes when we're in company, we're distracted, and thus it may be harder to see, harder to hear, more challenging to sense and feel. And for anyone that's like me, when I'm around others, when I'm in company, I'm often sensing all that is, I am sensing what's happening with them, hearing parts of their stories, and usually the painful ones. And so when I am just with myself and in nature, I'm in the company of spirit. And that is a different company to keep. That is company that is nourishing and wholesome and restorative, and I feel poured into. In the belly of Jamaica is offering me this reminder, this clarity, this wisdom. It is a path potentially to healing, particularly when we allow ourselves to be still and surrounded by nature. When we remember that we are elemental beings, that our ancestors were elemental beings, sitting with nature and experiencing the elements, listening to them and engaging with them is healing. Hey, it's Dr. Sheena here. Thanks so much for tapping into my YouTube channel, Conjuring Honey. Love notes on whimsical, embodied healing, sweet storytelling moments, and becoming in nature, in spirit, and in global living. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay so close to the drip for more Conjuring Honey.